A brother calls 911 to save his brother's life, but the response ends with a shooting with police.
This officer was quite shaken up, but when you shoot someone for no reason, you should be shooken up.
Hear what officers have to say about Sunday's shooting in Sandy.
An armed robbery at the indoor swap meet in West Valley. What police know and how you can help them find the suspect.
As we get ready for the work week, we've got a winter weather advisory for portions of the Wasatch Front. We're talking lake effect snow. What does this mean for your Monday morning commute? How much snow are we expecting? And how many storms over the next 7 days? We'll let you know.
What was that like for you going to the Taylor Swift concert?
I had the time of my life, and it was amazing.
A 7-year-old girl initially crushed when her mom was unable to get her tickets to her favorite pop star's concert. Then suddenly an opportunity opened up for the pair. We'll show you the sweet surprise and talk to the mother-daughter duo about this dream come true.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight for Fox 13 News at 9. I'm Amy Nay. A Sandy family in mourning this evening after one of their loved ones was shot and killed by a Sandy police officer earlier today. His mother and brother have now identified him as 33-year-old Dylan Murphy. Sandy police say the response originally began as a mental health distress call. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser joining us live right now on the street where that shooting took place. Emily.
I spoke to that brother who called 911 to reach out to authorities to save his brother's life. Now he says he wished he never called.
Get back! Get back!
A Sandy police officer tells Casey Murphy to get back as he tries to see what happened to his brother Dylan.
You think you're going to call 911 like I did and think it's going to help the family or help him, and it turns out he gets murdered, you know?
At 1 a.m. Sunday, Casey called 911 with concerns for Dylan's mental health. An officer followed Dylan from 1000 East to Eagle Bend Road.
At some point, something took place where the subject presented an immediate threat to our officer.
By the time I opened the door, I just hung up the phone and opened the door, and I heard 2 gunshots. So I ran and screamed as loud as I could and got over here, got about right here where I'm standing now, and he fired a 3rd shot.
Dylan died at the scene. The officer is not injured. Sandy police have not said if Dylan had a gun on him.
He was out here not armed. He definitely wasn't armed. I mean, he was bleeding out.
His mother says he was a dad of 3, a trucker, and a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Sitting here right now, man, this is where my son took his last breath. It shouldn't have been like this.
Sergeant Greg Moffitt says most officers with the Sandy Police Department are CIT certified and trained to respond to mental health crises.
Sometimes these things do take a very drastic turn, and they go very polar from one end to the other in just a matter of seconds.
The officer is placed on administrative leave, and the officer-involved critical incident team is taking over the investigation. Reporting live in Sandy, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, thanks so much. We do have an update now to bring you on some breaking news that we had last night. Authorities have now revealed the identities of the 2 people killed in that wreck on I-80 near the Great Salt Air. 20-year-old Victoria Kiania Thompson of White Rocks, Utah, and 35-year-old Phalo Kitao Kaho Fiafia of South Jordan were killed when a semi-truck collided with their vehicle head-on. Another individual from that vehicle was flown to the hospital. We don't know the extent of their injuries at this time. Sadly, this wasn't the only deadly head-on crash with a semi-truck this weekend. In Weber County, Utah Highway Patrol says a wrong-way driver crashed into a semi on I-15 at 400 North in the Riverdale area shortly before 3 a.m. As you can see, the vehicles caught fire and left smoke billowing into the sky. The crash shut down miles of the highway for hours this morning. And those crashes are just a small sample of what authorities have seen the past few days. Of course, the recent snowfall is to blame for a lot of those accidents. The Utah Highway Patrol says that they have responded to at least 290 crashes this weekend. That number is not even including the slide-offs that may have happened, but were resolved before troopers arrived on scene. UHP warns drivers to be vigilant when it comes to driving in this snowy weather.
Please slow down, move over. Especially in this weather right now, get over as far as you can. we'll have cars that will move over and they'll still slide off into it because they're not far enough over, or they may not even see the lanes and they think they're over far enough with these snow-packed roads. Just make sure we're slowing it down.
The Utah Highway Patrol does give their troopers equipment to help when they are out patrolling, including reflective vests. Well, the storm also impacting Salt Lake International Airport today. Our news crews capturing plenty of passengers at the airport who were caught in the middle of it all. According to FlightAware, at least 30 flights were delayed. 2 were canceled, all thanks to Mother Nature. Boy, that storm came in fast and furious this morning. What was so impressive was just how much snow was falling at such a quick clip this morning, Breck.
Right, as we look at those snow totals there, where it wasn't as impressive. We've had bigger storms, but yeah, it fell so quick, sticking to the roads with these temperatures as we've been well below average, below freezing here, especially this morning, whereas we show you here with the sample along the Wasatch Front. We saw a range as we go from Box Elder, Cache County down along the Wasatch Front, anywhere between 2 to 4 to 5 inches. Now, some of the ski resorts definitely benefiting from the storm. Powder Mountain coming in at over a foot of snow. Several ski resorts come on a range between 4 to 8 inches. And the snow does continue on here across northern Utah. Now, we had that disturbance, that front pushing through the state earlier on. We had snow showers through central into portions of southern Utah. Still holding on to a few light snow showers just east of Cedar City. Bryce Canyon moving over towards Moab, but things will dissipate here in the overnight hours. Here's the thing that we're looking at from northern Utah. We've got this wraparound moisture, a cold northwesterly flow. That means the possibility of some lake effect snow. We're kind of seeing that lake enhancement with this band now moving around across this Great Salt Lake, as it will be impacting areas such as Tooele, over towards the Wasatch Front, Weber, Davis County, moving through the Salt Lake Valley. This is going to be the situation here in the overnight hours. Right now, we're seeing that snow as you go from Tremont through Brigham City down through North Ogden. But again, here throughout the Wasatch Front, we're going to keep this moisture coming into play, and the snow will be accumulating because these temperatures still very cold. We're, as you can see here all across northern Utah, we're below freezing. So as we take a look from the National Weather Service with these cold temperatures in place, we do have a winter weather advisory with lake effect snow tonight through Monday morning commute. What does that mean as far as how much snow accumulation we are expecting and how long will this snow linger on? We'll let you know coming up in just a bit.
Breck, thank you. West Valley City Police, meantime, looking for a suspect in an armed robbery that took place at an indoor swap meet this weekend. Fox 13 News reporter Darian DeBrule has details on the incident and what police know about the suspect.
The weekends are the most popular time of week for Salt Lake's indoor swap meet, where buyers can get stellar deals on clothing, accessories, and miscellaneous items.
It's situated a lot like a shopping mall, and so there's lots of different retail businesses inside of the large building.
Lieutenant Steve Beardshall with West Valley City Police says on Saturday, police received a call for what they first thought was an active shooter.
We were treating it initially like it was an active shooter. We had not just officers from West Valley respond, but we also had officers from the Taylorsville Police Department, and I believe some of the Unified Police Department respond.
Beardshall says police quickly established there was not an active shooter, but an armed robbery at one of the swap meet's jewelry vendors.
We do believe the suspect was armed with a handgun.
Lieutenant Beardshall says one person believed to be an employee of the jewelry store was injured.
They were grazed by one of the shots that was fired. The injuries were really superficial, and they actually didn't even seek medical attention.
And large amounts of merchandise was stolen.
They're still trying to go through their inventory and find out exactly how much was taken, but they did take a large amount of product.
Beardshall says the suspect has still yet to be identified as he concealed his identity well, but police were able to obtain a small description from witnesses.
They did describe him as a male that was wearing all black. He did have a face covering on. We are looking through a lot of surveillance video from all the individual businesses in there and other places. So we hope to maybe identify this suspect, but it's going to take some more identification.
West Valley City Police are asking anyone with information on what took place here Saturday to contact them. In West Valley, I'm Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And in more local headlines, people gathered in Ogden for the monthly Ogden Pagan Market at the Copper Nickel. People could shop local and buy various things like art, candles, jewelry, and much more from 18 different vendors there at the market.
I think shopping online, you don't get that love that you get from like something that's been made locally, and love has been put into, an object that's been made. but you support local, and that just helps the community out a lot more.
Well, this market is held the last Sunday of every month. The Utah Pagan Market also meets in Sandy and in Orem on a monthly basis. For more information, you can go to utahpaganmarket.com or look them up on Facebook. Well, her mom describes 7-year-old Katie Steed from Hilldale as the biggest Taylor Swift fan ever. And that's why she says they were so disappointed when Ticketmaster crashed as they initially tried to get her tickets to her Las Vegas show for Katie's birthday. They were left empty-handed, though. Then about a week ago, her niece gave her the chance to get 2 tickets, and she surprised young Katie. Take a look.
What would you need a cute, sparkly outfit for? What do you think you'd need one for?
Go to a concert?
I got you a ticket to go.
Aw, she told me those were tears of joy for young Katie last week, and her mom says she got emotional again last night in Las Vegas, where the mother and daughter attended the Taylor Swift concert as the pop singer first came out on the stage. The mother and daughter from Hilldale spoke with me earlier this evening about it.
What was that like for you going to the Taylor Swift concert?
I had the time of my life, and it was amazing.
It was so exciting, and now it's almost like kind of sad that it's over. It was just, yeah. I'm just looking up her dates for her next concerts going, ooh.
Yep, they're already looking for the next one. Katie wore her new sparkly jacket and custom Swift shirt her mom gave her, and they say they loved all 3.5 hours of the show, especially Katie's favorite song, All Too Well.
Help has arrived in Mississippi after a deadly tornado. I'm Charles Watson in Amory, Mississippi. I'll show you the damage and the recovery efforts coming up.
World news tonight as tens of thousands of Israelis took to the streets today, blocking a major highway and setting fires. These protests held after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fired the country's defense minister, who had opposed a plan to overhaul the judiciary. Yoav Gallant had called on Netanyahu to abandon that proposal, which would give the governing coalition the final say over all judicial appointments. The demonstrators turned a highway into a sea of blue and white Israeli flags and lit a large bonfire in the middle of the road. It was one of a handful of demonstrations, including one outside Netanyahu's private residence, where thousands of people gathered. Vice President Kamala Harris is starting a sweeping tour of Africa. Harris arrived in Ghana today, becoming the most senior Biden administration official to touch down on the African continent. Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff will also travel to Tanzania and Zambia over the weekend. The vice president will hold talks with the president of each country. After her arrival, Harris explained what she hoped to accomplish.
I intend to do work that is focused on increasing investments here on the continent and facilitating economic growth and opportunity, specifically in the areas of economic empowerment of women and girls.
The White House says her trip will build on the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit President Biden hosted in D.C. last December. The vice president also is expected to talk about strengthening democracy, promoting peace and security, climate change, and Russia's war in Ukraine, among other issues. Some national headlines right now. At least 25 people were killed. Dozens more injured after a tornado ripped through Mississippi, leaving a path of destruction behind. Some emotional survivors escaped with their lives, but lost everything as the twister flattened entire town blocks. Charles Watson shows us the devastation and now the recovery efforts.
I know we can rebuild, but what you do with the devastation, what you doing over here?
Volunteers arriving in Mississippi to help survivors of the devastating and deadly tornado. People coming from all over, from places like Arkansas, Tennessee, and Louisiana to help.
Everything I can see is in some state of of destruction.
Rolling Fork, the hardest hit. This picture shows the city before the tornado hit, and this is after the picture, a brown line of damage. Landmarks like City Hall and a post office in Rolling Fork destroyed. An eerie look inside what's left of City Hall. Some doors still standing, with the mayor's nameplate intact, but all around it reduced to rubble.
This was the downtown strip. It's gone.
Officials are devastated but determined to rebuild.
This community's going to come back strong.
President Biden issuing an emergency declaration, sending the Secretary of Homeland Security to Mississippi to pledge the federal government's support.
The president has directed us to be here to assist the people of Mississippi.
Forecasters say a tornado watch is in effect again for parts of Mississippi Sunday night. The National Weather Service also saying hail and gusty winds are possible. In Amory, Mississippi, Charles Watson, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And as the snow keeps falling back here at home, Utah continues to break records. Snow Basin reporting a new record-breaking snowfall. They have 482 inches of snow at their resort. They collected 11 inches starting at 5 o'clock this morning. The last record they broke was back in 1981 when they received 475 inches. Boy, we are just breaking records.
Seems like every day.
As the snow just keeps coming down. I went out this morning. I came into work early this morning, and then when I went out after the show, it was coming down so hard.
Hard, fast, and piling up. You know, it was about 2 to 4 inches, which is not a lot, but when it sticks on the roads that quick and it's kind of the snow piles.
Caused a mess, didn't it?
It did cause a mess. Really big problems for traffic, as that's going to be an issue for tomorrow, because now we're looking at the possibility of lake effect snow impacting northern Utah. We're already beginning to see that influence right now. Let's give you a live look. UDOT traffic camera up in Roy. We're seeing that snow coming in fast and furious, where temperatures are at. As we've been keeping this cold air around, we know that it'll quickly stick to the roads. We've got to be careful out there as we look towards tomorrow morning. Right now, we give you a view from our Natural History Museum. Camera looking towards the northwest. We are seeing threatening clouds inching closer towards the Salt Lake Valley. But look at these temperatures right now, well below freezing, as we'll be seeing overnight temperatures in the 20s here along the Wasatch Front. Thus, it's going to be a cold night, and we've got the snow. So we'll keep the showers going through eastern Utah here for the next couple of hours, but it's northern Utah with that focus. And again, that lake effect snow, where we have winter weather advisories in place. Then that pushes on another storm lining up. This one's going to bring several inches of snow for the mountains. Valley. It's going to be kind of a mixture of some rain and snow. But for tomorrow morning, it is snow tonight through the morning. And again, that winter weather advisory in place. And we've actually expanded the area of coverage. Box Elder County moving through the Wasatch Front towards the Wasatch back as well. Ogden Valley through Cache County, Logan County, as well, or excuse me, Logan Canyon, I should say, through portions as we look over the mountains near Utah County there. So let's talk about how much snow we're expecting. Again, it's not a lot, but it will be piling up, sticking to the roads. It will cause issues for the roads tomorrow, both in the valleys and as you make your way through the canyons. So Logan, not so much, but Ogden southward, it's that 1 to 3 inch range, maybe a little bit more in Tooele. Once we get into Provo and then east of that, it's not going to have much of an impact. But let's look at what we're seeing right now here across northern Utah. You see that band of snow there. That as it's making its move across the Great Salt Lake, it gets that enhancement, that little lift, because we've got that cold air over some warmer water temperatures, so that gets that lift. We see that snow falling, and again, it's going to be kind of in the zone of Ogden through the Salt Lake Valley that we'll see that focus, where right now the flow is mainly out of the northwest, so with that more westerly component, it impacts Weber and Davis County. But I think for tomorrow, it'll be mainly through the Salt Lake Valley and then potentially on the west side of Salt Lake Valley that we see that focus. So those showers moving through eastern Utah, but let's focus in on northern Utah. Again, tomorrow morning, we wake up at 6 a.m. Snow showers, Ogden through Weber, Davis County, Salt Lake Valley, even into northern Utah County. It continues on. We get that more northerly flow. So what we're seeing coming off the lake will really be impacting the Salt Lake Valley to the west side, and then even pushing towards the Cottonwood Canyons. Once we get into the afternoon, you can see it quickly dissipates. We see some sunshine. We get the flow out of the south in preparation, again, of our next storm, which looks to reach us on Wednesday. Tonight, it's cold throughout the state. We're under the grips of this cold air. Again, these temperatures is what we experienced in January rather than in March. We've got 20s here along the Wasatch Front with overnight lows, teens in Logan, single digits, Evanston, Park City towards Vernal, central Utah. It's also teens, and we may even see some brief showers in Cedar City here the next hour or so over towards Moab. But as I mentioned, by midnight, that dissipates. We'll return the focus here across the north. Now tomorrow, it's morning showers, afternoon we're clearing out. It's a little bit warmer, but again, on average, we should be close to 60 degrees in Salt Lake City. The high tomorrow, 40 degrees. Also seeing 40s through central Utah. St. George, you have 50s, some sunshine as well. A little bit more cloud cover on Tuesday. You get hit with some showers late Wednesday, maybe a chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Then it's rainy on Thursday. That'll drop temperatures. It will clear out nicely for the weekend as we return to the 60s. Of course, many of you maybe on spring break with the kids. At least looks like some of the days you'll be okay. Northern Utah, we've got that morning snow. Tuesday, it's partly cloudy skies. Then rain on Wednesday afternoon. Then a mixture of rain and snow Thursday with some snow showers on Friday. It's colder. We're in the 40s. Saturday a break, but then another storm for Sunday. We just can't break free from the storm cycle. And again, that storm Wednesday through Friday, several inches for the mountains. So we'll, I know, continue to break records here at the ski resorts. And again, we're building up that snowpack where we'll have those concerns for the spring runoff. But here for tomorrow, get ready for that snow come tomorrow morning. We'll be back right after the break.
So glad you're here with us tonight. I'm Amy Nay. Talking about some entertainment news as Keanu Reeves is back at the top of the box office. David Daniel has the early weekend estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
I don't know where we are. Adam Driver and 65 made $3.3 million for a 5th place finish. Creed 3 slipped to number 4. $8.37 million sent the boxing pick past $140 million domestic. $8.4 million put Scream 6 in 3rd place.
I don't deserve these powers.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods is not looking super strong. It fell 68% in its sophomore weekend, dropping to 2nd place with just $9.7 million. John Wick Chapter 4 opened with a bang, $73.5 million, by far the best debut of any film in the franchise. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Straight ahead, as we gear up for week 2 of actress Gwyneth Paltrow's trial in Park City, we've got a recap of what she said on the stand at the end of week 1. Why she's denying that she's at fault for a man's brain damage after a skiing crash 7 years ago. And as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, Breck and I talk with the Utah STEM Center about how students locally can get into the STEM field. Tomorrow begins week 2 of Gwyneth Paltrow's trial over a skiing accident that happened back in 2016 in Park City that left one man with brain damage and broken ribs that he blames Paltrow for. Before things wrapped up for week 1, the actress took the stand testifying about what she says happened. Court TV's Julia Janae reports.
I feel very sorry for him. It seems like he's had a very difficult life. But I did not cause the accident, so I cannot be at fault for anything that subsequently happened to him.
On Friday, Gwyneth Paltrow testified with poise, some humor, but she was unequivocal throughout her 2 hours of testimony that she was not the one who skied into the plaintiff in this case. But after her testimony, there were some lingering questions about a noise she allegedly made at the time of that collision in 2016.
I froze when he slid between my skis. I absolutely froze, and I don't remember yelling or screaming until I was very angry.
You were furious and said you skied directly into my back at the top of your lungs.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I apologize for my bad language.
On the stand, Paltrow first denies that she ever screamed. Then when answering questions from her own attorney, she seemed less sure.
It's impossible that I let out a noise upon being hit because it was a very slow move. It wasn't an impact. The impact came when we fell on the ground. So it's very possible that when the impact was made, I screamed, but I do not recall making a sound until we were falling or on the ground.
Plaintiffs and their sole eyewitness claim that she let out a scream before the impact.
She hits him right directly in the back.
The ski instructor with Paltrow from Deer Valley Resort wrote this in the incident report, quote, "I didn't see it, but I heard her scream on the way down. I skied directly to her. The man, plaintiff Terry Sanderson, was behind her, agreeing that Paltrow was not the party at fault."
I was skiing and looking downhill as you do, and I was skied directly into by Mr. Sanderson.
Now, Sanderson is going to take the stand next. He's going to testify that he heard a hysterical scream like King Kong in the moments before the impact and that he lost consciousness not too long after that. Paltrow's family is traveling here to testify as witnesses once this case passes to the defense. Reporting in Park City, Utah, Julia Janae, Court TV.
And you can watch every moment of the trial on our live feed. The QR code on your screen will take you there now. You can also find live coverage on our website at fox13now.com or on our YouTube channel, Fox 13 News, Utah. We have a special guest in studio as we celebrate STEM and especially focus on women in STEM. Our special guest today is Becca Robison. She's Innovation Hub Manager from STEM Action Center, which is a great resource here in Utah.
It is, yep. We're happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, we're learning all about it and how you guys provide things like 3D printers and some really cool things to our local schools.
Yep, exactly. So we are located in South Salt Lake. We have a makerspace that is open Fridays 12 to 8 for people to pop in and work on personal projects. But the STEM Action Center in general has a lot of programs that help serve the entire state. Classrooms, communities, libraries, anything related to STEM.
Wow. So what kind of opportunities do you provide for girls to help get interested in STEM?
So when we focus on girls in STEM, what the STEM Action Center primarily does is support programs that help girls find belonging in STEM. So we support programs like Girls Who Code, competitive robotics, makerspace work, so that girls feel like they have a home that really resonates with STEM.
Because we talk about the need for women to join into STEM because there is a real discrepancy as far as men and women in this field.
Absolutely, right. And what we see at the STEM Action Center, especially during our makerspace time, is we have families come in that say, man, moms in particular, that say, man, I would have been an engineer if I knew this was engineering.
Right. Because you can make anything you can come up with. That's the exciting part. It's all about creativity, really.
Really. And we have a great program in partnership with Girl Scouts and UAMI where we can do 3D printing classes. And 3D printing is really amazing because, like you said, anything you can dream of, you can really produce using a 3D printer.
I love that because you talk about STEM and sometimes you think, oh, I don't really love math, or I don't know, I don't like the idea of coding. That seems so foreign. But no, when you think about something I can create in my head, I can make.
Exactly.
And how do I make that happen? That's STEM too.
Exactly. And you know, beyond that, when we think of STEM, we sometimes fall into this pit of thinking about content, right? But really, STEM is a set of skills that can help us in every avenue of our life. It's creativity, it's collaboration, it's critical thinking, it's the design process. And that's what we need to focus on because that helps beyond those subjects like calculus and engineering, right?
So with your efforts, have you seen more of an interest and more of a draw coming in, getting girls excited about STEM?
What was that?
I was going to say, through your efforts, have you seen an increase of interest with girls getting
Absolutely. Our makerspace in particular, we've worked really hard to make sure it feels like a home for girls and women. So we home a couple of competitive robotics teams out of our space. And our Tinker Times are oftentimes the meeting place for a group of 8th grade girls. It's been really awesome to see.
I love that. So it becomes a social event as well.
Exactly.
And really fun and a way to find what you're good at.
Yeah,
And figure out how things work. That's basically what it is. It's so exciting. I love that you're breaking down some of the stereotypes that may be associated with STEM and showing us what it really can be.
Yeah, do you guys want to see a robot work?
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, he's going to wave for you.
Oh. So you program this to do kind of what you wanted.
Exactly. And this is a really good example because this robot was built by an all-girls competitive robotics team.
Oh, how cool. All right. Well, it was nice to have you on our show, Mr. Robot. Ms. Robot.
How can you get information? Where can people go?
If you want to learn more about our programs and the programs we support, go to stem.utah.gov.
Thank you so much, Becca. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
The Final Four is set. I'll tell you which teams are in. And the NCAA men's basketball tournament coming up in sports. And LeBron James returned to play for the Lakers after missing the last 13 games. Did it mean a win for LA? The highlights are on the way. Final Four is set for the men's NCAA basketball tournament. Florida Atlantic and UConn advanced yesterday. 2 more teams punched their tickets today. San Diego State took on Creighton. It was tied at 54 late in the second half. Nathan Mensah shoots and scores, put the Aztecs up by 2. The Blue Jays tied it up, and Darian Trammell was fouled on the shot. He missed the first free throw, but he stepped up and made the second one. That was the important one. Put the Aztecs up 1 with 1.2 seconds left on the clock. The Blue Jays needed a miracle. It did not happen. San Diego State won at 57-56 to advance to their first ever Final Four. Miami took on Texas. Former Utah Ute Timmy Allen, now a Longhorn, knocks down the jumper. He finished with 16 points. And how about the inbounds play here for Miami? It goes to Jordan Miller. He led the Hurricanes with 27 points. Then Wooga Poplar goes off Allen's back and throws it down. Miami trailed by as many as 13 points, but they rallied back. Miami went back inside to Norchard Omier. He scores, plus the foul, 3-point play for the Hurricanes. They're up by 1. They went on to win it 88-81 to advance to their first ever Final Four. So here's the matchups in the Final Four in Houston. San Diego State will play Florida Atlantic. Miami will play UConn, with the winners advancing to the national championship game. The Utah Jazz lost their 3rd game in a row last night in Sacramento. They're 2 spots below the playoff line in 12th place in the West with 8 games to play. They host the Phoenix Suns tomorrow. The Los Angeles Lakers had LeBron James back after missing the last 13 games with a foot injury. Came off the bench against Chicago Bulls, led the Lakers with 19 points. But it wasn't always good. He throws the ball away here. The Bulls push it the other way, and Zach LaVine, who finishes it off with the jam. He finished with 32 points. And he knocks down a deep three in the 4th quarter. The Bulls won at 118-108 to spoil LeBron's return. Dallas Mavericks just a half game ahead of the Jazz after losing their 4th game in a row. Luka Doncic wanted a foul called. He didn't get it, but did get a technical foul called him after arguing with the referee. That's his 16th technical foul this season. He'll be suspended for 1 game unless the league rescinds the technical. The Charlotte Hornets pulled away in the 4th quarter. Gordon Hayward, the jumper, he led the Hornets with 22 points. Then the alley-oop goes to Dennis Smith Jr. The Mavericks lost it. They've 110-108 for the Hornets. Sam Burns faced Cameron Young in these finals of the World Golf Championships match play tournament in Austin, Texas. Burns took the lead on the 6th hole after this great approach shot. He won 4 straight holes and 7 of the final 9 holes to win it 6 and 5 to win the first place check of $3.5 million. We'll hear from the Jazz tonight on the Fox 13 Sports page, plus Real Salt Lake after a tough loss at home against Utah Valley before their NIT semifinal, and spring football for the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. So a little bit of everything tonight.
You got it all in there. Some exciting basketball today. I was watching some of those ball games.
It was really fun to watch. Final Four set for the first time, I think for a long time, there's not a number 1 seed. Wow. There's not even a number 3 seed. The highest seeded team is 4, UConn. Yeah. 9 seed, 5 seed, crazy.
All these upsets, all these broken brackets.
That's why we love it.
That's why it's so much fun. Thank you, Jeff. So what does it take to make a farmer's market welcoming to everyone? We meet the woman behind the toolkit. That's next.
And as we go to a break, let's take a look at UDOT traffic camera. Moving up Sardine Canyon, you can see the snow falling, sticking to the roads. We know tomorrow morning, canyon travel will be an issue. What about moving through the valleys? We'll answer that coming up after the break.
Now to our segment we call Two Americas. We are not focusing on 2 political parties or 2 opposing views. It's about the America that you know and the America you might not. A chance to look at a perspective or an issue other than your own. As we celebrate Women's History Month, tonight we focus on a woman who is determined to make farmers markets inclusive for everyone. As Matt Pearl learns, it's other women who are the key to her success.
This is a chance to celebrate and elevate everyone here tonight.
On a cloudy Wednesday night, peppers adorn pesto, samples fill up spoons, and 400 Atlantans connected to food gather to honor women.
In Atlanta, the backbone of our local food movement is women.
It's called Lady Locavores. It's an annual event noteworthy in both that it celebrates women and how? By demonstrating diversity in every form at every turn. It's an energy built with intention, an energy that mirrors the words and images at the home of its final honoree.
Sometimes I feel as if I have to really advocate for myself as a woman in addition to my Blackness.
Sadrina Jalal is Black, she is a woman, and she is both together. That matters because too often in movements surrounding women, it hasn't.
It's been, I think, a very common feeling amongst Black women that feminism really isn't for Black women.
Virtually every issue that affects women affects them differently based on other factors.
Survivors, united, will never be divided.
But those factors, too often, haven't factored in to how to address them. The Me Too movement came under fire for co-opting a phrase coined by a Black woman. The Women's March has been criticized first for lack of inclusion of women of color, then for accusations of anti-Semitism among its leaders. The conversations have been messy and public. They've also brought diversity and equity to the forefront, including leading to efforts like Jalal's latest endeavor.
Most people, Black or otherwise, had no idea that the system is designed to do exactly what it's doing.
Farming and food are known as industries dominated by men, but the systems and structures that surround them have mainly benefited white men. Jalal created the Anti-Racist Farmers Market Toolkit, a blueprint for markets like the ones at this event to get intentional about being inclusive.
Women have a tendency to make space for each other. We really like to build on each other's strengths and work cooperatively.
Which brings us back to that evening in Atlanta.
The amazing Sadrina.
At an event to uplift women, Sadrina Jalal accepts her award not for working on women's causes, but because she is a woman, advancing causes for all.
Yes, this is what we do. We show up. That's what women do.
In Atlanta, I'm Matt Pearl.
And to read up on the Anti-Racist Farmers Market Toolkit yourself, you can just go to farmersmarketcoalition.org. You can also find out what local farmers markets are doing in your community by just typing in Utah in the search bar on that same website. Fun to think about farmers markets, maybe heading outdoors to take one in when it warms up a little. My goodness, it just keeps on coming this winter
seems like
season.
we're delaying so many things because of this winter weather. I just got a notice in an email saying my son's baseball season, we're pushing that back a couple of weeks because we can't get on the field.
Well, Lagoon was supposed to open. They pushed that back. So there are a few delays out there. Somebody was saying in a meme that it looked like winter was somebody who was in a fight and couldn't leave. Just kept coming back for that one more word.
And we got another situation where the snow is coming back right now here across northern Utah. We showed you that UDOT traffic camera up Sardine Canyon, snow-packed roads. Now the valley's starting to see it once again, where this was the situation this morning. Oh, it was not good along I-15 further north from Layton, as we're looking right now near Hill Air Force Base. We had parts of the I-15 closed as we had the snow-packed roads, and we're seeing that impact where we're getting more lake effect snow as colder air begins to move in. That cold air coming across that warmer air just above the lake, we get that lift and we start to see the snow falling. Now, we're not seeing it through downtown Salt Lake City, but it is close. So we're really looking from Ogden through the Salt Lake Valley, that possibility of lake effect snow in the overnight hours and through your Monday morning commute. And with temperatures right now, as they've remained for most hours below freezing, we're going to see that snow as it does fall. It will quickly stick to the road. So chances for precipitation, where let's talk about the type of precipitation. Well, tomorrow, as you can see, we have that chance it will be snow. Then we look through the middle of the week. We get a little bit of a warm up. So with the shower threat moving through Wednesday, Thursday, it's kind of a mixture of some rain and snow. There'll be periods where we see snow as we look at maybe during the morning hours when the temperature is colder. Throughout the afternoon, we'll see a little bit more rain. Now, Friday morning, it will be snow. We get a little break Saturday, and then Sunday, we continue under that storm cycle where we're really going to be adding to that snowpack from that storm by the middle of the week. We're talking several inches, if not feet of snow that'll be pushing its way through. Now for St. George, less of a threat, but you can see Wednesday and Thursday, we do bring a chance of some rain showers, but making those plans. Again, spring break this week, next week with the kids. Southern Utah, not a bad spot to go, especially as we look towards the weekend, where we'll mainly be looking at some clouds, but temperatures should be in the 60s. Now, lake effect snow, again, we're incorporating some additional areas where we don't see as much lake effect, but we will see the snow showers as you look at portions of Box Elder County as you go along I-84 through Tremont, through portions of the Cache Valley, Logan Canyon, but really the focus is from Ogden down through the Salt Lake Valley into portions of northern Utah County, the mountains there, as you can see, also a possibility with that snow. Now, looking at the valleys, it's kind of on a range as you go from Ogden through Salt Lake City, 1 to 4 inches, a little bit up in Park City, but again, it's this zone along the Wasatch Front as we look for the central to southern end of the Wasatch Front that will see the main impact from this lake effect. Now, we're already beginning to see it in play. We can see here across northern Utah, shower threats and snow showers as we go Tremont through Brigham City, through Ogden. Looking at the traffic cameras, we're seeing that snow falling just south of Layton. Also, quickly now incorporating Farmington through Bountiful, North Salt Lake, and then we'll see that push finally coming into the Salt Lake Valley as that flow coming in out of the northwest. So let's look ahead tomorrow morning, your morning commute. Snow showers. Again, that 1 to 3 inch range, but like we saw this morning, it quickly sticks, it piles up. I think the snow plows getting a head start on this one, and we'll be prepared. So hopefully it won't have much of an impact, but just give yourself some extra time. If you do not need to travel, where the focus for the snow and snowpack roads will be mainly throughout the morning hours. You should be good to go for the afternoon and no issues for your afternoon commute. Highs tomorrow, a little bit warmer, still below average, and barely making 40 degrees in Salt Lake City. 30s expected in Ogden, Provo, Logan, 20s in Park City, Central Utah, it's 40s, 50s in St. George. Again, as you get past the Wasatch Front, you don't have any issues of snow. You see the sunshine in St. George. Then you get the rain late Wednesday through Thursday. As I said, clearing out nicely for the weekend. We return back into the 60s Saturday and Sunday. Northern Utah, that morning snow, break on Tuesday, rain Wednesday, mixture of rain and snow Thursday and Friday. Actually, Friday it's snow, and then that next storm on Sunday. We'll keep temperatures below average and definitely feeling more winter-like as we start the work week off. We'll be back right at the break.
I guess it's Popeye the Sailor's favorite day of the year. Today apparently is National Spinach Day. Now you know. Whether you like to eat it raw or cooked, it's a great source of iron and antioxidants. So many ways you can celebrate this day. There you go. National Spinach Day.
I noticed that the producers didn't bring any spinach in to kind of
I think I had some in my salad.
Oh, did you?
Really?
You didn't even know you were
My
celebrating
wife made me
it.
a salad. I think there's some spinach in there.
Hey, stay tuned. We've got a quick guest and then sports page.